Yo, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Renegade Roundtable podcast here. I am Jeffrey Kirby. As you can see, we actually got our boy Jarryd back. Jarryd, how the hell are you?
I'm exhausted, but busy day, but I'm glad to be here.
Hey, listen, obviously he was not with us he was with us on the draft show in spirit. But yeah, last week the draft show was an absolute blast. Thank you everyone for tuning in for that. And yeah, it's been a couple weeks since you guys have seen Jarryd on the channel. And is it me, or does it feel like the draft was so long ago, but yet it was just a week ago?
It doesn't feel like it's been a week. I feel like it's been longer.
It feels like it's been a month, honestly.
Well, schedule comes out next week, hopefully.
Hey, if it wasn't for your work schedule, I would possibly have had an idea of us doing a live show, but we don't know with your schedule.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, if we can make it happen.
You never know.
If we can make it happen, we might just have to do a live show for there. Or if not, maybe what we'll do is we'll record and then I'll try to get it out next Thursday instead of out next Friday. So you guys can get our reactions that night. But obviously, like we said, we do have the draft to talk about. We do need to recap the NFL draft from last week. And needless to say, Omar Khan strikes again.
Con artist.
The con artist strikes again. It's when you look at this draft and when you look at, so let's talk about this for an example. Let's go back to just the overall look of Omar Khan. Omar Khan becomes a general manager after last year's draft. All right. One of the first big things that he does was trade Chase Claypool in season, which was something that we never really saw happen. And then you fleece the Chicago Bears. You get the 32nd, what ended up being the 32nd overall pick, the first pick in the second round. So you do that. That was like, okay, so changes are actually happening around here. Then you get to the draft. Then you get to the offseason. You look at what they've been able to do in free agency. Well, they went out and actually spent a lot of money, something we're not accustomed to because of how Kevin Colbert. Now, granted, I understand that there was a lot of years where they probably didn't have a lot of money to spend, so it's like you can't really do a whole lot in free agency, but it was like last year, for an example, I want to say, when we actually went out and got a couple pieces, we're like, okay, let's go. And then, let's not forget about Minka Fitzpatrick and his extension too, when we talk about the Omar Khan thing. And then he goes out and spends a crap ton of free agency, gets us a lot of good players. Lets Andy Weidel set up the draft board. And then they go into the draft. They trade up to get their guy in Broderick Jones, which, thank you to the Lord above. And then just the way that he maneuvered around the draft. I mean, he traded back from 80 to go to 93, acquired that additional fourth-round pick, which ended up being Nick Herbig, but we'll get into that. In the fourth-round pick that he lost when he had to trade up from 17 to 14, which, by the way, we've given, as Steeler fans, we've given Bill Belichick a lot of shit because, obviously him being the head coach of the New England Patriots, and they were always the team that kept us out of the Super Bowl and all that, and kicked us out of the playoffs plenty of times. Thank you for doing the deal with us because he knew exactly what we were going to do. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I guess there was a report saying that New England had a better deal but for them to be able to move up, but they wanted to do the deal with Pittsburgh knowing that we were going to take the final out of the tackles because remember, let's not forget this. We'd always talked about the big three. There was already 3 tackles off the board because you had Paris Johnson when you had Arizona who moved up and down the board. They went and got Paris Johnson. Then you had Peter Skoronski, Darnell Wright going to Chicago, if I'm not mistaken.
That was the
when I tell you, if you guys saw my live reaction to when Darnell Wright got drafted, I was the happiest man alive because I'm like, thank you, God, we do not have to worry about Darnell Wright coming to Pittsburgh. And let me explain why I didn't want Darnell Wright on the Pittsburgh Steelers. It wasn't because of the player, but it was Well, okay, I lied. Maybe it was, but it was because of the way that I didn't think he was going to be able to transition to left tackle. We needed a left tackle. Do you trust Darnell Wright, who had tried to play left tackle at Tennessee, and it didn't work out that well? Would you have trusted that? Or would you have trusted keeping Darnell Wright on the right side and moving Chuks Okorafor to the left side? To be honest, I don't trust that a whole lot either. So I was glad to see that they went out and actually, when we saw that, I'm like, okay, there is a glimpse of hope. And then when we saw that they were getting, it was either going to be for Christian Gonzalez or Roderick Jones.
It was one of those
two. In hindsight, thank you God that they actually did go. And I don't get me wrong, Jarryd, I know you absolutely love Christian Gonzalez. But with hindsight being 2020 and knowing how this board worked, thank you God that they actually went out and got Broderick Jones because they were still able to get their corner at 32.
Yep. Which is very shocking, too, as well. I thought he wasn't going to fall there. No way.
Which, don't get me wrong, with me and how I was with Joey Porter Jr. and going through the whole draft process was it was like a roller coaster ride because it was like sometimes I wanted him and then there would be times like no, and then it was like, but then it was like I was starting to go back up towards the later part of the draft process. I was starting to you know what, I actually wouldn't mind it, but it would depend on the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Now in this situation, they were able to get both. Because they traded up to get Broderick Jones, then they would trade, and then with that 32nd pick, which there were rumors that they could have possibly traded it. There was a lot of teams wanting that pick, most likely for Will Levis.
Thank God.
Which, even depending on where they went, they may have been able to still get him, but I don't know if they wanted to take that risk. So they said, screw that. We're gonna still take our guy Joey Porter Jr. at 32. And now we have our franchise left tackle, and now we have a young corner who knows the city of Pittsburgh, who knows that building, and is going to come in and work.
Cornerback one for the future.
Let's talk about – I kind of want to go down, and let's just talk about each pick individually. So, obviously, we'll start off with Broderick Jones.
I called it. Thank you. Since March, I've called that. I just want to put that out there. Thank you. Thank you, Omar Khan.
The con artist strikes again. But yeah, they traded, obviously, what we mentioned earlier. Traded up from 17 and move up to 14. And the fact that it only took a 4th-round pick, too.
Oh, my God.
That
was nothing.
Again, thank you, God. Thank you, Bill Belichick. I can't believe those words are coming out of my mouth. But thank you, Bill Belichick. When I tell you, you guys have to go back and rewatch the reaction to our draft show. My reaction to that whole entire, you know what I should do is I should go back and clip that and just make it a whole separate video and just post just that whole entire time of the moment I found out that we traded up to when we drafted him and then my reactions right after. It was golden because it was like a shocker because holy shit. Mm-hmm. And then you go out and they actually get the guy that you want. It's like, oh my God.
No more Dan Moore. Sorry. Thank God.
But obviously when it comes to Broderick Jones, he was a 1-year starter, obviously. He's going to be physical. He's going to be dominant. Now, here's my thing when it comes to rookie left tackles. And we're seeing this with the fan base. And even me at times will catch myself doing this. But at the end of the day, we have to remember, left tackle, there will definitely be some growing pains here. I don't expect him to come out and become instantly week one of the best left tackles in all of football. It's not going to happen. There's going to be some growing pains. There's going to be times where we just got to hold it. We're going to get a little irritated at times. But when he starts to get accustomed to the NFL, when he starts to, and that's a nice thing too, is you're going to be able to go up against Alex Highsmith, TJ Watt all day long. You're going to be able to go up. I understand that TJ usually goes up on the strong side, that right tackle. But if you were able to get him to work with TJ Watt, who's obviously the best pass rusher in all of football, get him to learn and get to practice with that, and then on top of that, you're still practicing against Alex Highsmith. He's going to be able to get a lot of good reps in camp with very good football players against him. So he's going to be fine, but I do think that there's going to be some growing pains. We have to make sure we're keeping ourselves level, because we can't let our expectations for him temper too high and think he's just going to become the second coming of Jarryd Williams right off the bat.
Yeah,
it is rare for that to happen. I mean, I hate the fact that I even have to say this, but it's a perfect comp. Joe Thomas. Joe Thomas came into Cleveland and immediately was great. Immediately was great. That's very rare for that to happen, and also explains why Joe Thomas is going into the Hall of Fame as a first ballot Hall of Famer. But we have to remember, again, temper the expectations, and let's just let this grow out. But this is a very good first draft pick for Omar Khan.
Oh my God, first pick off the board. Trade it up. You have to, like I said, you only have to give a 4th round. I thought it was more, like to go up 3 spots. I thought they had to give it maybe the 3rd and 4th round pick to go up 3 spots.
Which would have sucked.
It would have sucked, but it was not that. But
so here's a question now. Mm-hmm. So we talked about when it came to 32. If they would have had to trade away a 3 and a 4, do you think they would have traded back from 32 to try to add?
For sure. They probably would have.
That's kind of how I feel. So it was like, for them to only give up a 4th, they ended up recouping anyway later on in the draft. So it was like, really no harm, no foul.
Mm-hmm.
It was. And here's the thing, too, when it comes to Broderick Jones. He didn't give up a sack in 2022, nor did he have a holding call. He only had 1 false start. That was it. So in reality, he only had 1 penalty. He had 1 penalty in 2022, and it was just a false start.
Man.
I'm not saying that he's going to have 0 holding calls.
No, I know.
His rookie year. I'm not going to say that. And that's a part of the growing pains.
Mm-hmm.
But the more he continues to develop, the more that he is able to just grow as a person, there's still like potential there. Like there's the potential for him to be even better, which is what's great. And the fact that, yes, he was able to go up, and that's what's nice about getting guys like this out of a place like Georgia, where A, he knows how to win, and B, he's gone up against the best competition in college football.
Yep. It's exciting. It's very exciting. Just got to keep the expectations low.
Usually, the offensive linemen are not the quote-unquote sexy picks. They're not the wide receivers, the defensive ends, things like players like that. But to see this fan base truly get so excited about a left tackle, shows what kind of fans, we're known as Steeler fans. Whether you have been a fan for 20 years like I have, or if you've been a fan since before the 70s. It's always been, outside of the couple years with, the Killer Bees, it was always run the football, smash mouth football, and defense. Clearly, you can see, and I think Matt Canada, even in a press conference, said it, you could clearly see what we were trying to do. You clearly saw what they were trying to do in the second half of last year. And now you see what they're trying to add into it more this year. You get a physical, dominant left tackle, Isaac Seumalo, or Seumalo. I've been saying this wrong. Seumalo. We've had him for a while now, and I finally have learned how to say his last name. But you have Isaac Seumalo. Then you saw Mason Cole, James Daniels, Chooks, who's been there a while. You're going to start to see some camaraderie. You're going to start to see some fluidity with this team. And, God, this makes me so excited.
It very well is the O-line. Now, the question is, as much, with the offense, who it all goes down to.
Well, it goes down to the development of Kenny Pickett, and it's going to come down. Obviously, you're probably expecting me to say Matt Country up north, but obviously, yes, that will have something to do with it. But it's also going to come down to with Kenny and all that. And another person that we need to discuss real quick, and I'm going to go off topic for a half a second. There was an article from ESPN, and it's they were talking about players who were winners of the draft. There was a winner that was a part of that ESPN put was Najee Harris. Najee Harris, well, yes, he definitely won because he's going to be able now that and here's the thing though. We got to remember with last year when they ran on that left side with Dan Moore and Kevin Dotson, they were running pretty damn well. But they've revamped that left side of that offensive line, which is what the fans have been wanting, and they got it. You ask and you shall receive. But we have to see how Najee's going to look at year 3 because, don't get me wrong, year 1 was pretty nice, in terms of being an all-around back. Last year was weird because started out the year with the injury, and then the fact that he still played in that final preseason game still pisses me off to this day, which kind of hampered that first half of the year. Mm-hmm. And then, but in the second half of the year, he ended up being a lot better. But Najee Harris really needs to step it up this year because this is a critical year for Najee Harris. Because after this, now you want to give the team a reason to want to pick up your 5th-year option, which is now fully guaranteed. That's something that's become recent. As you notice, a lot of the players in that 2020 class in that first round, there was a good amount of players that didn't get their 5th-year option picked up. Now, I understand that whole draft class was weird based on COVID and all that. Mm-hmm. But this has got to be a critical year for him. He needs to put up a lot of production. And then on top of that, you still have Jaylen Warren, who obviously played very well for us last year when he was given the opportunity. But Najee Harris, part of the thing is his vision. He needs to really get better in terms of his vision and just hitting the holes. Because he's not a guy that has like that home run speed. Mm-hmm. And it just, sometimes he likes to dance around too much instead of just hitting the hole. It seems like he's trying to be Le'Veon Bell when he doesn't have Le'Veon Bell's skill set.
Doesn't need to be.
Like, just go. Like, when we saw Jaylen Warren, it was a bat out of hell. He is flying down that hole, and it was easily 5-6 yards of carry for him at times. Mm-hmm. That's what we need to see more of with Najee this year.
Agreed. Totally agree.
So, now we're back on track here. So then we obviously go into night 2. We were the talk of the night, before the draft, because obviously we had the first pick of that second round on night 2. And for a lot of no surprise, they go after Joey Porter Jr. They get him. Now, when you look at JPJ, last year he didn't have the interceptions, which is weird because now I understand that fans will only look at stats. It's like with pass rushers. It's only sacks or, they look at certain things. Yes, he didn't have the interceptions. But look at the PBUs. Mm-hmm. He had 11 last year. He's 6'2.5". He's 193 with 34-inch arms. Let me think about this for half a second. Who has a very, very, very similar build to that? I think he's a corner that just recently got traded to the Miami Dolphins, a.k.a. Jalen Ramsey. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be Jalen Ramsey. Let me be very, very clear here. I'm not saying he's going to be the second coming of Jalen Ramsey here. However, when you look at Jalen Ramsey, identical in weight, he's taller than Ramsey, and has longer arms. Go back to that 2016 draft. People were going nuts over Jalen Ramsey's arm length because his arm length was very good for a 6'7" tackle. JPJ has 34-inch arms. Broderick Jones, if I'm not mistaken, had like 34 and 5/8 or something. So they have very similar arm length. And that's coming from comparing a left tackle to a corner. So the length is there. He is going to be fine. He's playing in a system where he's going to fit in best. He's going to be playing press man. He has the build. We're going to see the kind of production that you would hope. I mean, we all saw the video on Twitter of that whole emotional thing where you're gonna get a pissed off JPJ now. I almost wish I would have worn my Joey Porter Sr. jersey on here, but as he said, we're going to see a pissed off, motivated Joey Porter Jr. And that is exactly what we need out of this team. When we look at corners, we haven't had, obviously, yes, we had gotten, Joe Hayden stuff. That one year where we had, Joe Hayden and Steven Nelson, that was a pretty good corner duo.
Mm-hmm.
But, we haven't really had a true dominant corner in God knows how long. It's been a while. So for us to be able to add that, a tall, lengthy corner.
Tall, lengthy corner. Everyone is short.
Hey, this pick made me so happy. I was at work, and I was excited as hell when we actually made this pick, because it's like I said before, you got your franchise left tackle, and now you have your corner. And on top of that, he's going to be able to learn from a future Hall of Famer, Patrick Peterson. That's what's even better about this. So not only do you have a father who is a Super Bowl champion in the National Football League, but then you get to learn from a future Hall of Fame corner and Patrick Peterson on learning how to work, learning the everyday grind of being an NFL corner, and just being able to learn those tips and tricks from Patrick Peterson. There is not going back home, there is no better situation for Joey Porter Jr. than to be right here in the 4-1-2, and damn it, we're all excited.
Oh my gosh. It's very exciting. Tall corner, the corner room looks a lot better, definitely. A little bit better. Still see how the nickel works out.
Us Steeler fans right now we're all this is the equivalent to us kids when we were going in Toys R Us and we just had an unlimited budget. That's what this feels like. For us as Steeler fans. Then you get to pick number 49, where they go after Keanu Benton from Wisconsin. When's the last time that we got a defensive lineman from Wisconsin? Or, someone on the defensive line-ish that came from Wisconsin?
I think that was 2017.
I think he's ended up being pretty good.
Yeah.
I think he's been pretty good for us. So, and Keanu Benton from Wisconsin. We all talked about them needing an interior defensive line. We talked about wanting to see them get younger in that interior of that defensive line. Now, they drafted DeMarvin Leal last year, who we saw a little bit from him, which was nice. This was a pick that, at first I saw some Steeler fans maybe a tiny bit shocked. But I'm all right. My first initial reaction was all right, we got ourselves the interior guy that we've been wanting. We all know that Mike Tomlin loves Wisconsin. He even mentioned in the press conference where it was how he loves Wisconsin and he loves those players. Again, being able to learn from Cam Hayward, learning from those guys is going to be so beneficial for Keanu Benton. As my phone just keeps on blowing up. I got to put my phone on. There we go. Had to put my phone on airplane mode because my phone keeps going off. So, hey, you guys watching this, my friends, stop FaceTiming me. I'll call you guys later, damn it. But, yeah, I was happy about this pick. This was nice for us to continue to get younger on that defensive line.
Oh, yeah, you learn from Larry O, like you said, Cam Hayward, all those, veterans. And then I'm sure Leal gets another year production. Hopefully he improves. It's going to be very interesting.
And then you get to pick number 80, where they trade back, get that a 4th round pick that they had lost, and then they go after none other than Darnell Washington.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, he is huge. What do you want me to say?
I was shocked. I didn't know where they were going to go with that pick, personally.
I remember on Friday night, I heard people were talking, I was hearing conversations about, people trying to convince themselves maybe should they go after, someone like Michael Mayer at 32, which don't get, I don't know, I would have convinced myself, it would have been good, because it's, he kind of reminds me of, a Jason Witten, Heath Miller kind of, we all know we all loved Heath Miller. But when Joey Porter Jr. was sitting there, you had to. And it was like, tight end, meh. I mean, we already have one at Pat Freiermuth. But in this situation, it's a lot different because he's basically the sixth offensive lineman. It's literally in his bio, I believe, on Instagram, the sixth offensive lineman.
Yep. Unfortunately, he's probably going to be the Zach Gentry replacement down the line here. But it is what it is. Like I said, the sixth offensive lineman. He's a good blocker. It shows.
Yeah. I'm not expecting a whole lot from him on the receiving end. In terms of receiving passes, I'm not expecting a whole lot from him. But what he will be able to produce in terms of, especially in goal line. Here's what's nice about what Darnell Washington brings you. Instead of having to bring in an actual sixth offensive lineman and saying that you could quote unquote report him as eligible, whatever, you don't have to do that because Darnell Washington can be that.
Oh, you put that bunch, the goal line with
bunch.
Freiermuth, Washington.
He's gonna be he'll be a red zone nightmare. He's gonna be a red zone nightmare. I
am excited.
This was a pick where I was genuinely shocked, but I was happy about.
Oh, very happy.
Because I'm like, shit.
Where he got picked was, incredible.
I mean, I believe in my mock draft, I had him going in the first round to Cincinnati, if I'm not mistaken. And then he falls all the way down to the third round, and we get him late in the third round. Yes, please. Thank you very much. Omar Khan, once again, the con artist strikes again. That should be a drinking game. Have a shot and it's going to be a Friday, so you'll have the weekend. Take a shot every time we say the con artist strikes again, because right now you're probably about 5 shots in. And then you get into day 3, which the first pick, so that 4th round pick that you acquired in the trade down, you get Nick Herbig. So what's new? There's 3 guarantees in life: death, taxes, and Mike Tomlin taking bloodlines. And I'm not talking WWE either. For all my WWE fans out there. But yeah, how ironic. They take another set of brothers. Whoop-de-doo. That's the most unshocking thing that could have ever happened. And what's ironic is a lot of people, within Twitter, I think you and me made a joke. I've seen a lot of people make jokes like, oh yeah, Nick Herbig will be a Steeler. But we're all playing around. And then next thing you know, he actually ends up a Pittsburgh Steeler.
It's hilarious. But a good depth piece for the outside linebacker position. Maybe he can move inside. We'll see.
I don't know if he'll be able to move inside, because here's my thing. He has a lot of potential, but he's not I would like for him to get stronger I would like for him to get in the weight room a little bit more and get a little bit more stronger. But this is where having TJ Watt in that same locker room benefits you so much, because what TJ Watt will be able to do is he's going to be able to help him and teach him the ways of being able to unlock all that potential and all that athleticism that he has. Help unlock that, and it be here's my thing too when it comes to this, and this was a thought that I had earlier today. I don't really think that this is when they drafted Alex Highsmith for Bud Dupree, when Bud Dupree had 1 year left, it was you could kind of see the writing on the wall there. I don't know. To me, this doesn't feel like that. Now, I think so. Part of it is because I don't think that Alex Highsmith is going to command the kind of money that Bud Dupree ended up getting.
Definitely.
I don't think he's going to get that kind of money. However, and I love Alex Highsmith. I love his father. Shout out to Sam, by the way. Shout out to Mr. Sam. We'll have to get him back here on the podcast. I'm going to have to message him here soon. We'll have to get him back on. Because you weren't on the show when last time we had him. That was one of our first, if I'm not mistaken, that was one of our first 10 episodes. That was a blast. That was a very fun show that we did. But yeah, just being able to learn from TJ Watt, learning how to use his athleticism and unlock some of that untapped potential that he has. And again, what happened to the last time we drafted an outside backer from Wisconsin? I'm trying to remember. Oh, wait. He's now teammates with them. How shocking.
That's crazy. I forgot he came from Wisconsin as well. Jeez.
Yeah, a lot of times I forget too. Then if it was for a Steeler fan, it was smoke him if you got him, because we didn't draft till pick 241. So we went about 109 picks before we drafted again. And then you go after Corey Trice from the corner from Purdue. Now, I'll be very, very blunt and honest. About the last two picks, I didn't know a whole lot about him. Nope. I didn't know anything about Spencer Anderson. I'll be completely honest. The guard from Maryland. I'll be completely honest with everyone. I didn't know a whole lot of anything. Corey Trice, I heard a tiny bit just because he's in the Big Ten. But what's new? The Steelers drafting a 6'3", a long corner. A long press corner.
Wasn't he projected to go higher? I think he was too.
Supposedly. So I was looking. I got bored earlier, and I was looking on NFL.com. I wanted to see what Lance Zierlein had to say about him. He had him projected as a 4th or 5th round pick.
Wow.
So, here, I'll read you his overview. This is what it was on NFL.com. Well, he has legitimate strong safety size. Trice's game is better suited for a cornerback position. He is physical in coverage, but lacks the same temperament in run support. His size and length helps impede the early stages of a route and smother possession throws underneath. He's a decent athlete, but lacks ideal fluidity and speed to recover when beaten. So press and zone coverages are where he should live. While there are limitations, there is also room for technical growth to make him a better pro. He won't be for everyone, but teams valuing size over speed will covet him in the middle rounds with upside. And then there was how at the very bottom they always have a quote from a scout or something. Mm-hmm. This was a scout from a quote Midwest scout from an AFC team. Says he's getting slept on. He can't play in certain coverages, but that guy is a monster in press. If we could get anything out of him, which I think we will get something out of him. Shall I say it again? The con artist strikes again. Shall I say it again? I mean, going back to a couple years ago, when we had Trey Norwood, and it was at this point, it's if you could get anything out of those 6th, 7th round picks, you're all right, bet. That's an absolute plus. And that's how it was for us with Trey Norwood, where it was he ended up becoming. Didn't he start week 1 against Buffalo? I feel like he started against Buffalo, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. And if I am wrong, you guys could comment down below and say how stupid I am. That's fine. Go ahead. I mean, people do that anyway.
I'm pretty sure he did start a game because I know Minko was definitely out for a game.
But no, I'm saying or if he did start, he was definitely he was a big contributor in that game.
Oh, he was. He probably was.
Which is all you when you in those later round picks, you would love that. And for Corey Trice, who ended up, I think part of the reason too was because he had a knee injury in 2021, so that was part of the reason why he dropped too. But such amazing value. Mm-hmm. For Corey Trice. And then, like I said, for Spencer Anderson, I had zero clue about him.
I think they just picked whoever was there.
Cool. They just said, you know what? Fuck it. We'll just take another offensive lineman. Fuck it. Why not?
I'm sure he has potential, but just a good depth piece, basically.
But yeah, overall, when you look at this draft, you get your franchise left tackle, you get the press corner that you want. You get the interior or defensive lineman that you wanted to because you need to get younger there. You then go and get a tight end who's going to end up being a 6th offensive lineman who will bring you a little bit of receiving value, who can be a red zone threat. Then you bring in an outside linebacker who has a lot of potential. Then you get Corey Trice, who, again, you got him at a huge value. And then you drafted another interior offensive lineman. So it's what more could you... If you had to knock any little tiny thing about this draft. Any little thing.
Oh.
And I don't like doing this, and it's not even like I'm mad at it. But I'm a little shocked they didn't go after a receiver at all.
Oh, I'm a little shocked. I thought they were going to get one.
Because it's always like, oh, yeah, death taxes, Steelers take a receiver in the middle round, so it ends up being pretty good. But, like, and like I said, and that's not even a complaint.
Mm-hmm.
It's just more of like a shock to me where it's like, okay, they'll end up taking one of these receivers like later on in the draft, and then they'll develop and end up being pretty good. But, yeah, overall, I really don't have any complaints about this draft at all.
Well, you saw the Steelers invited Akeem Butler to the mini camps.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of interesting.
We did get a quarterback, though.
Oh, God, really?
As an undrafted free agent.
God.
Well, Morgan. Hey, I'd much rather it be this than waste a 7th-round draft pick like they did with Chris Oladukin last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see where he'll be. Fight for that QB3 spot.
So I was messing with one of my, I'm not gonna say a friend because I've never really met him, but there was a Rams fan who like does a lot of coverage, and I was messing with him something about a quarterback, and I said, "Can I interest you in a very healthy Mason Rudolph?" I tried. It'll be a matter of time before he ends up in the XFL or the USFL.
Did he sign somewhere else, or is he still a free agent?
I think he's still a free agent. Oh, trust me. I think we would have known if he was a free or if he was signed because we all know that the Steelers Twitter timeline would have an absolute field day. Would have a field day with that.
It'd be tears of joy.
Breaking news: the Baltimore Ravens signed Mason Rudolph. It's like what? That would be the most ironic, funniest shit ever. Because it's like that one matches nowhere near like what their offense is, but that would just be hilarious. But breaking news: the Cleveland Browns, although we drafted we drafted a quarterback in the 5th round, we're still gonna pick up Mason Rudolph. Oh, great! I can't wait to see how those conversations with him and Myles Garrett are. That would be hilarious.
Who they take? DTR?
Yeah, they took DTR.
DTR. Okay.
Which is more of like a developmental guy, which is like whatever, because they have Josh Dobbs, former Steeler legend. But yeah, I mean, it's more of like one of those like kind of how it is with us, just like a developmental guy, just like whatever, who eventually could probably take over that QB2 spot. But overall, yeah, I have zero complaints about this draft. I loved what they did here in this draft, and I cannot freaking wait for week 1 or week 2 or I can't wait for week 1.
It's week 1. We're week 1. It's the home opener. It's happening. It's meant to be.
And when you look at the Pirates' schedule, they're away that weekend. They are away.
It's meant to be. It's meant to be. You just wonder who they're playing week 1.
We will find out in 1 week.
1 week.
And
if it's during the show, we need to announce that, huh? Talk about it.
But like I said, that's why I said if we do a live, depending on what time you get off of work, that's why I wanted to possibly do a live show because we could do our live reactions to that. That would be fun.
I'll definitely try my best to work harder next week. So that's what it is.
He said, "I won't work. I'll try to work harder and not smarter next week." For one day.
For one day.
For one day, we'll try to work harder and not smarter.
Well, once the schedule's out, it's time to buy those tickets. Start buying the hotels.
We'll pull back the curtain a tiny bit on something. So obviously, Jarryd and I are going to the home opener. Whenever that is, or whoever it's against, we're going to the home opener. So, for those that are going to the home opener, yes, we will all be there. So, me, Jarryd, and Herb, who you guys have seen on the channel a couple times, I was telling those guys, I was like, the moment that those get out, I was like, we all got to get in a call together because we're actually thinking about all getting an Airbnb, which would be fucking lit, unless it's the Jags game, which. You know what? I'm going to be very fucking selfish. Do not let it be the Jags game for the home opener. Damn it. Come on, Roger. Come on, Roger. But
I hope it's the Jags. That's all it is.
Don't let it be the Jags, damn it. But yeah, we're gonna all get it like an Airbnb. Like I've already been looking. Like there's some nice Airbnbs that are really freaking close to the stadium, really close.
And then I'll be definitely there on a Friday. That's all I can say. I'm spending my whole week.
I'm planning because like I'm probably gonna do like around the same thing that I'll do like Friday, and that's what's nice too is like 'cause we can all still go out and do whatever the hell we want to do. And what's even better is I'll have my car.
Oh my god!
Because like Jarryd obviously he has to fly. Herb, I'm not sure what his situation because he's like he's close enough to drive, but like I don't know how that's gonna handle. Like for me, I'm just 2.5 hours away, so I'm just driving. So I'll have my car.
Definitely flying.
Well, I don't think Jarryd's gonna be driving. And I don't think Jarryd's flying Spirit either.
Hell no.
Be packed in there like sardines.
Fun fact: I met Ike Taylor in Spirit.
Hey,
he was one row behind me. Had a little conversation.
Shout out to the last number 24 that another 24 cornerback.
Mm-hmm. Ike Taylor.
Shout out to Ike Taylor. But yeah, it's gonna be an absolute blast, and we kind of got completely off track. But you know what? Fuck it. This is where we're at. This is But here's the fun thing though. This is bringing up excitement, pure excitement and joy. We all cannot freaking wait for this season.
And just to see who we play and how things shake out. We should be a playoff team this year. Hopefully, that's the goal.
Well, so here's that kind of leads into one other little thing I wanted to get into before we get out of here. Mm-hmm. The AFC North, and just in general, if you had to rank right now 1 through 4 post draft, the AFC North, how would you rank them?
Ooh. 1 is the Bengals. I'm being straight honest. The Bengals are way too good. 2 is tough because I'm a greedy guy. I'm a greedy guy, and we're Steeler fans, of course. I want to pick the Steelers. I think they're better. And then it's between them and the Ravens for me personally. Mm-hmm. I can see the Browns being an improvement.
Nah, fuck them.
Yeah, exactly. But I think the Ravens defense still lacking some pieces personally. You know, they had a good draft. Yeah, they got Lamar back. They got Odell. They got Zay Flowers, which is good. It took them a damn while, but their defense is still, who's on their D-line? I don't really know. That's impressive to me. You still got Queen there for another year. I know there's Kyle Hamilton, the safety back there. Marcus Peters, he's getting older.
Well, Marcus Peters.
Not Peters.
He's a free agent.
Oh, he's a free agent. Not Peters. What's the other guy? Humphrey.
Yeah, you got Marlon Humphrey. He's still pretty damn good. That right now their other projected starting quarter is Rocky Sin.
Wow, Rocky Sin. There you go. Wow, that's the corners.
I can't wait for the memes on that one. I can't wait for the Steelers Ravens to have some sort of meme for that to be coming.
Told you that's their corners. I don't trust their defense.
When you look at their defense, their defense is not bad. Like you have Justin Matabuke, Michael Pierce, Broderick Washington, which whatever. Then you get Odafe Oweh, Roquan Smith, Patrick Queen, and Tyrus Bowser, who those are linebackers. And then their secondary is Rocky Sin is whatever. Mm-hmm. Kyle Hamilton, first round pick last year. Marcus Williams got himself a bag last year. And Marlon Humphrey, still one of the best corners in the league. One of the better corners in the league. So it's
I forgot they signed him, Marcus Williams. Yeah. See, that's what I totally forgot. I don't pay attention. Sorry.
And here's the thing, too. When it comes to, Steelers and, the Steelers and Ravens, it's we hate each other, but there's also that mutual respect. Mm-hmm. Because it's at the end of the day, for the longest time, since the AFC North has really been the AFC North, it's always been us two really being the kings of the division. Yes, you have, the Cincinnati. There's been times where they won the division. They were good. Right now, they're probably the kings of the division as of this particular moment. They've won it the last 2 years. They've been the best team. Mm-hmm. Got no issue saying that. Mm-hmm. Cleveland, they're, obviously, yes, they've been a bottom feeder in the division. And then they're weird because it's 2018, they were, they go from 0-16, then they have 7 wins. They have Baker and all that, where it's okay, they're on the up and up. Then they go and get Odell, and then now it's just a shit show of a year for them. Then 2020, the COVID year, 11-5, Kevin Stefanski's first year, It's like they go 11-5, they make it to the divisional round of the playoffs, and they were very close to beating the Chiefs. Where it's like, okay, now so they go down here, now they're up, now they're down, now they're right back up here. Then 2021 starts and then it goes downhill because of Baker and his injury. And then last year was just a big old shit show with the whole Deshaun Watson thing.
And how is Deshaun Watson going to progress?
Yes, because that is a huge thing. Because if Deshaun Watson goes back to the Deshaun Watson that he was in 2020,
then
as much as we all hate him now, we still have to give him the respect of the fact that he was a very damn good quarterback. Very good quarterback. And as much as we all want to say, talk about the 6 games because that's what we do as fans, at the end of the day, it is also kind of foolish to really, like, if you're really being logical, to kind of base it off of that. But now with him having a full off season with and everything, not really having to deal with a whole lot of the drama stuff like he did last year and the previous years, we'll see what happens with him. Lamar, obviously, they now have Todd Monken, who's their new offensive coordinator. That offense is going to completely change. They're going away from that Greg Roman running all the damn time offense to Todd Monken's going to want to throw the football. There's a reason why you got Odell, and there was a reason why you got Zay Flowers. And then you still have Mark Andrews.
Still have Rashad Bateman, too.
You still got Rashad Bateman. They got Nelson Aguilar, which, I mean, he's whatever, but he'll be serviceable for him. So it's like, you know what? Like, they're going to be respectable.
I'm putting the Steelers number 2, Ravens 3, Browns 4. That's how I'm going to put it.
I think I would agree, but 2 and 3.
2 and 3 could go either way.
2 and 3 could go either way. If you said Ravens 2, Steelers 3,
I wouldn't be
too mad at that. I mean, I'd be upset because, that hurts because I'm a Steeler fan, but from a logical standpoint, it's like, okay, I can understand it.
Now, if you put the Steelers 4, then we have some questions.
Oh, listen. At that point, you're just either a big old hater or you just don't know ball. But,
Stats don't lie. Stats don't lie.
Yeah. You're damn right. But I do want to say, I think that is it for this episode. I do want to say thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you guys did, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a comment. Make sure to go and follow both of us on Twitter, and also go follow us on Twitter at Renegade_table. And until then, I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Stay safe. Have a great week here in Northeast Ohio. We're actually starting to get good weather. I know down in Florida, they get nice weather, 365 a year. So, it's like whatever. For us, we're actually starting to get 60s and, 70s days. And it was like, yeah, we've been having that my whole life. Where have you been? That's how Floridians speak. So congratulations to you and all your weather success. But until then, hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe. Peace out.